Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Universally Speaking, the Unforgiven special. In this show, we are going to go through and dissect every single matchup on this stacked card. We start, though, not with a match, but with a face-to-face confrontation. Tyler Breeze has had a serious attitude change over the last few weeks, and it was Velveteen Dream who was in the firing line. Velveteen Dream had the biggest win of his career at SummerSlam over John Cena, and it drew a number of parallels to the win that Tyler Breeze had over John Cena at SummerSlam the year before. Tyler, feeling as though the Dream is merely trying to imitate him, laid out Velveteen in a disgusting act by delivering a devastating unprettier onto a steel chair. With the combustible nature of this face-to-face confrontation being very well known by EC3, he has set up a special guest to oversee proceedings. Will these two be able to have a civil face-off with no violence? It's highly unlikely, but should be entertaining nonetheless. Now onto the matches that we have at hand on this card, and we begin with the deeply personal and bitter rivalry between the aforementioned EC3 and Bobby Lashley. This all began when EC3 was hired by Vince McMahon himself to investigate a heinous attack on JBL. EC3 conducted the investigation while also endearing himself with the WWE Universe as the general manager, and he succeeded in outing the culprits. Those culprits, well, they turned out to be both Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush. Since then, life has been made a misery for the general manager, even to the point where EC3 called on Johnny Gargano to lend a hand, but not even that lasted very long, as Bobby Lashley, on the most recent episode of SmackDown, left Gargano laying in a pool of his own blood, and the challenge was made and accepted, and the match is on. It'll be EC3 versus Bobby Lashley. It's sure to be a hard-hitting affair. And speaking of hard-hitting affairs, this one will be no different when two of the very best the WWE can offer will square off again. For the first time since the main event of WrestleMania, it'll be Kevin Owens versus Rusev. After a tough loss at SummerSlam to Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens is looking to get back to the top of the mountain once again. He, however, has an enormous roadblock standing in his way: the Bulgarian Brute. Rusev was traded from Raw to SmackDown by Shane McMahon under very similar circumstances to Owens, given both men have had run-ins with the Raw general manager since WrestleMania, furthering the stance that these two men are destined to fight each other in one way or another forever. It's different circumstances to WrestleMania. There's no title on the line, but it will be the same quality that they've produced in the past, and the inside mail on this match is that it may very well have large WWE Championship implications. Whether it's officially or a huge step up the ladder, this one is going to have a lot of feeling and be one of the biggest matches and the most anticipated on the entire card. Now we get to the first of our championship matches, and it's the winners of the Dusty Rhodes Classic, the Revival, who have earned their way to a championship match once again when they take on the Street Profits in what could be one of the show stealers for the evening. The Revival cited Dusty Rhodes himself as their main motivation for the Tag Team Classic, and the wave of emotion has carried them all the way to the top of the mountain, and now they just have to plant the flag and capture the championships. That, however, will be a tough task, as the Street Profits have defended the championships against all manner of credible opposition and come out on top, so they have proved that this indeed will be a tough ask for the Revival. Will the emotional journey of the Revival take them to the top, or will party over preparation prevail? The next championship match we're going to take a look at is the mouth-watering contest between the despicable Cassius and the architect, Seth Rollins. Rollins has been nothing but a fighting champion since capturing the gold from Chad Gable a few months ago. He's been willing and able to take down the multiple high-profile opponents, but it seems as though Ono is firmly under the skin of Rollins, after a litany of disgraceful sneak attacks. Ono was traded from SmackDown to Raw and made his intentions known right from the start of his tenure on the Red brand, going directly after the United States Championship. Rollins made the challenge himself and Ono naturally accepted, which is probably what he wanted all along. Rollins feels as though the only way to rid himself and potentially the WWE of Ono is to beat him and take out the knockout artist. The next huge, and I mean huge, championship battle will be between the three monster-sized athletes of the blue brand when Raymond Rowe defends his Intercontinental Championship against both Lars Sullivan and Walter. The Intercontinental Championship has become the title of the Giants in recent months, given the former Intercontinental Champion before Rowe was in fact the monster amongst men, Braun Strowman. We of course saw Walter and Sullivan literally explode the ring in pursuit of the Intercontinental title. So what on earth will they do when they have a direct opportunity at the gold? It will take all of Raymond Rowe's guys and Nouse to get through this incredibly difficult challenge. Does he have what it takes, or are we crowning a new Intercontinental Champion at Unforgiven? The next match is the first of 3 World Championship matches at this enormous pay-per-view, and it is between 2 of the very best professional wrestlers in the entire world, Daniel Bryan and Ricochet. Despite what many may think of Daniel Bryan, he hasn't backed down from any challenges, and he is one of the only members of ESM actually willing to take the challenges as they come. This match was very close to not being on, as there was a lot of confusion over the Fatal 4-Way main event on the Raw side, with ESM threatening to pull both athletes off the show. But as we will learn later on when we talk about the Fatal 4-Way match, that isn't the case. Bryan defeated Owens in a classic tussle at SummerSlam to capture the gold, and of course it was Ricochet who got his opportunity through signing with SmackDown Live. Of course, it was a part of a deal that brought the hottest free agent in wrestling to the blue brand, and it was that he received a future championship match. That match is right now. Ricochet didn't just get handed this opportunity though. While it was in the terms of the contract, yes, he also proved to EC3 that he is no joke when he defeated former WWE Champion Kevin Owens in his first match on SmackDown, showing that he is very capable of being at the top. This one could well be one of the best matches in company history. We can only hope that ESM keep their hands off it and let 2 of the best go at it. The next World Championship match is of course the Women's Championship. Shayna Baszler has come from forcing her way into the Mae Young Classic, winning the Mae Young Classic, to becoming the undisputed Women's Champion. Has it all been controversial? Yes. But has it been dominant and scary? Absolutely. Baszler has torn through multiple opponents and left many women laying in her wake. Baszler won the championship in mere seconds over Peyton Royce and will look for a repeat performance when she faces off with Sasha Banks. Banks, though, has not backed down in her fight, and it seems as though most people are split, given Baszler has actively walked away from every single fight between the 2 women in the lead-up, leading many to believe that Banks might indeed be the answer to Stephanie McMahon's problems. It's either that or this is yet another master plan from Baszler, who has done this all before. She may well be directly in the head of Sasha Banks. Will this be a repeat of SummerSlam, and will Banks be choked out in mere seconds, or will she show the fight we all know she has and defeat the seemingly unbeatable Baszler? We'll have to wait and see at the pay-per-view. And finally, we have arguably the biggest match in both Raw and SmackDown Live history, when 4 of the top professional wrestlers in the world face off in a chaotic Fatal 4-Way match for the World Heavyweight Championship. This match has been shrouded in controversy and has looked on again and off again in the past few weeks. AJ Styles won his right to a championship match at SummerSlam by defeating Andrade Cien Almas in an instant classic, so his status is solidified. Drew McIntyre actually pinned Apollo Crews clean in the main event of SummerSlam and thought he'd won the championship, only to find out that he actually signed for a match for the ESM Championship and not the WWE recognized World Heavyweight Championship, so his status in the match is solidified as well. Then comes the Dutch Destroyer, Aleister Black, who was taken out for months at the hands of Drew McIntyre and a steel chair over his throat. Black has been hunting McIntyre for weeks, and Shane McMahon, knowing full well that Black would get involved during the main event, added Black to the mix to save the match itself. Plus, it also throws up another chance for ESM to lose a portion of their power, which McMahon has been slowly making his number one priority. The confusion doesn't stop there though, ladies and gentlemen, with the top brass at ESM lobbying all week to have the match changed. They were eventually thwarted by Vince McMahon himself though, who tricked Apollo Crews into signing for the match, and it was made official. Aleister Black versus AJ Styles versus Drew McIntyre versus the World Heavyweight Champion Apollo Crews is official. ESM aren't happy as the jewel in their crown is at a much higher risk of losing the belt in a fatal four-way than their preferred singles match that they are fighting for against AJ Styles. And if history is anything to go by, ESM won't rest until the bell officially rings in the main event at Unforgiven. It's never been more important to have notifications on, ladies and gentlemen, as we are going live on YouTube every single episode of Raw, SmackDown, and this coming pay-per-view, plus a ton of great ways you can support the channel and receive many benefits, including signing up as a mid-carder or above on Patreon to get early access to every single video, including Unforgiven. You can also join the Murphs Elite right here on YouTube by clicking the join button to get access to emotes, special sub badges, as well as access to our exclusive Discord server. And also, you can't forget, we now have a Teespring store. If you would like to pick up a cool Murphs YT13 shirt or hoodie, you can do that. Or we have the ESM endorsed Elite brand t-shirts available as well. But ladies and gentlemen, Unforgiven is on the horizon. And as always, for Murphs YT13, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you at Unforgiven.